I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
What the hell?
I was sitting here for nearly 30 seconds. For nearly 30 seconds, and I've got COVID nose, right? I haven't been able to smell right for 6 months or better.
Sure.
I got about 10% of my smell, and I'm sitting here after your dog ran away.
Oh, you're going to blame it on the dog?
I'm totally blaming it on the dog. I'm sitting here after the dog. Like, she just took off out of here like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, didn't you see me? I looked over the arm of my chair. I'm like, I don't know if I'm catching this. I look at your face. I'm like, well, he's clearly not picking up anything.
Yeah.
Like, did the dog shit on my foot? What? I don't know. I don't know if what I was picking up was accurate or not. So when you came back, I was thankful that you had that look on your face when you came back in. Because
Sure.
I'm like, that validates it then.
Yeah. No, dude. Like, I was like, oh, man, you brought me a Diet Coke, which I greatly appreciate, but there was just something about like, oh, man, I really need a drink of water right now. And I remembered I left water just outside the room, so I sprinted out of the room right before the intro was where I was supposed to come in on the intro, and I came back in, and it just smelled like sewage in here. And obviously, you're the only one in here.
That's not true. You watched this dog run like hell out, and I didn't know how to. You had already started the intro, so I didn't know how to get your attention necessarily.
Sure.
But I'm looking over the arm of the couch. I'm like, oh my god, did she crap in here? Like, what's going on in here right
Dude,
now?
it's not great.
Plus, my whiffer doesn't work right and hasn't for months. And I'm like, I don't know if what I'm detecting is what I think I'm detecting. Anyway, your face gave it away. No, it was not me. I appreciate the indictment, but it was not me.
Yeah, that was not. I mean, we were just talking about, she's like 9 years old, so cut her a little bit of slack. She's a little old.
Yeah, she's got
the sugar face going on.
Something going on all over the face. Like she whipped some spit up over.
Yeah,
her
that wasn't
nose or
great.
Whatever.
Yeah. I was not expecting to come back into a porta potty as I quickly ran back into the room.
I'm just happy I was validated.
I'm
just happy.
Blaming the dog, okay.
I'm totally blaming the dog.
Anyway, Kelly, did you know that in Finland,
Yeah, been there.
they have a race, and this race is a wife-carrying race.
All right.
So Finland has a wife-carrying race, and the winner gets his wife's weight in beer. So every year in Finland, couples take part in a quirky wife-carrying world championship where men race through obstacle courses with their wives on their back. The event began as a local joke but has grown into a global recognized competition that draws participants from all over the world. The grand prize, their wife's weight in beer. And beyond the laughs, it's seen as a fun celebration of teamwork, strength, and humor, proving love can literally be a balancing act.
That's interesting.
Would you compete?
I could compete.
Yeah.
My knees would give out completely, and that has nothing to do with my wife's weight.
Yeah.
I couldn't run to save my life. How far is the obstacle course?
That I don't know, but the technique in which they carry their wives is pretty interesting.
That was number 2. That's question number 2. Is it like fireman's carry?
It's almost like a backpack. So the shoulders go, or the legs go over the shoulders.
Right in my ass.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep, and then they have the arms around the waist with the head facing downward. So.
Well, I guess that would.
And it looks like everybody carries their wife that way. It must be the easiest way to do it.
It must balance the weight the best there.
Yeah, it's got pictures of them running through water. They're,
Dude, I can tell you my wife doesn't want her nose by my ass after I run 30 feet in what appears to be warm summer months.
The only time it's acceptable to ask a woman how much she weighs is after you win that competition.
I suppose for the beer.
Yeah.
I would totally compete because I'm not worried at all about carrying my wife.
No.
I'm more worried about my body holding up.
Over a long race.
I mean, yeah. Shit, I could barely run with my wallet and it about collapses my knees. So
that's good.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, your generation had probably just a series of back injuries by having sat on your wallet in your back pocket for years.
Yeah.
You're old is what I'm getting at.
I totally picked up what you're doing. I wasn't going to go off on that any further.
Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing fine. There was once a time where you were the one with more ailments, Ryan.
There was.
Yeah. You had some.
And that ebbs and flows for me, really. as he whips out a 4-inch wallet out of his back pocket.
Great reminder. My hip was already affected.
Yeah. My dysplasia. My hip dysplasia caused by my 4-inch wallet in my back pocket.
Yeah.
I have since in the last couple of years gone to a front pocket wallet. Just kind of a more flat, smaller thing. Changed my life,
Somebody shut them dogs up.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's just the nature of living
Actually,
in the valley.
she needs to be outside based on what
That's
she
not
dropped
my dog.
in here earlier.
That's not my dog. My dog doesn't bark. It's strange.
Yeah, anyway, I'm doing fine, Ryan. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Good. Pretty good. Today is my daughter's first birthday.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so crazy how that just kind of happens.
Wow.
My wife and I were talking last night. It's like, it seems like, because her dad is getting older. He's in his late 70s. And I was like, yeah, it just seems like you reach a certain age, whether you're super young or super old, and you go, how do we get here? And then there's just all that in the middle that nobody really cares about, where they're just like, oh, you're 30 or you're 40 or you're 50. But, at some point in your life, it's just kind of like you're in diapers and you revert back to diapers. People are like, how are you 1 already? How are you 80 already?
Right.
So it's just kind of this crazy, quick progression of life. And as of today, we have 1 and a 2-year-old, and it's just kind of nuts.
That's awesome. Did you already have a party?
No, we're doing that this weekend.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
We did a little bit of something last night in conjunction with football and stuff like that. So I cooked up some stuff and we made a cheesecake and did some stuff there, but nothing crazy. But we'll throw a party this weekend.
Cake or cupcakes?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Yeah, I tried my hand at homemade cheesecake for the first time.
No, that's coming for this weekend?
That's what we had last night.
What's coming for the weekend? Cupcakes? Cake?
The weekend's just cake.
Just cake.
Yeah, it's going to be like a smash cake so she can really get after it,
Yeah, there seems to be this trend now where cupcakes seem to be the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be cheaper. It must be a whole, per unit cost thing so everybody can have their own.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Waste, maybe.
Well, good for you. You're an aging father.
I
That's
am.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's happening quickly. I'll turn 34 in December. That's creeping up in literally like a month. So that's creeping up.
She'll be telling you to F off right shortly.
She already does.
Here it comes.
Pretty much. She's getting some attitude. It's
but
pretty
you're
crazy.
actually going to understand it when she says it.
Yes.
And she might actually chest bump your ass right back onto a couch. That might happen too.
Yeah, she's getting pretty feisty.
Screw you, Dad. I'll set my own
zesty.
I'll set my own curfew. Wow! Knock you right back on the couch.
Yeah. I do find it funny, and my wife probably won't agree with this at this point, but I'm already starting to tell, and I've talked about this before, I'm a little bit harder on my son than she is, as far as discipline goes.
Oh yeah.
But I'm already seeing her being a little bit more hard discipline-wise on Macy.
Oh yeah.
Because Macy's starting to have an attitude, and it's well, I'm recognizing it because I think obviously as a parent, there's certain aspects that you want out of who you want your son to be as a father, and then who you want your daughter to be as a mother, and how you kind of you almost take on this extra mantle of responsibility because of your role, and then also because you want that to be a good quality man or a good quality woman, and you kind of want to fix maybe some of the mistakes that you had in your own life. So I just, as a casual observer of what I've seen over the course of the last couple of weeks, as my daughter's become more expressive with her emotions, and how my wife has decided to react to them, it's yeah, okay, maybe we'll find some common ground here.
See, joke is totally on me because I feel like I was always more difficult, probably still am, more difficult with my son and harder on my son than I have been with my daughters, because I think it's somewhere in my brain, I might have looked at my daughters as being more fragile, and I don't want to push them to the same limit that I pushed my son to. But now that they are older, one being 21 and Aspen being 16, I was badly mistaken because there's nothing fragile about either one of them, and it probably could have been harder on them than I ever was on Brenton.
I think it's tough as a dad, though. I think it's tough to be hard on your daughter.
There's something there.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pretty common theme amongst all parents.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that's the way it goes. Unless you're just an asshole with both of them. And then it's equal.
An equal opportunity asshole.
Absolutely.
Got you. Wow, that sounded weird.
What part?
The equal opportunity asshole.
It's the context in which we speak.
It really is. Yeah.
I mean, follow along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't start.
Yeah, somebody's gonna clip that. Somebody's gonna clip that. And, that was weird. But no, I do think there is like this mental hurdle that you would have to get over in order to treat, your son and your daughter. And I don't think you should. You love them differently. You treat them differently. I think it's just a different type of way that you love and parent. And I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my opinion.
I cracked my oldest daughter on the ass one time when she was misbehaving.
Yeah.
And the look she gave me, one was like, "Are you freaking serious?" Yeah. Can't remember her age, but she was a little bopper, right?
Yeah.
She gave me the look like, "Are you serious?" But I like to think that it was that one little swat, and she's like, "Oh, Dad's serious." Mm-hmm. Okay, so Dad means business. So whether I was carrying a tone with my voice, whether it was a look on my face, body language, whatever, she got the little swat. She gave me the look, and it was like, okay, I got it. My son, different story. It was a little bit more than one swat. In fact, it should be revealing enough that the last episode he would lay on the floor of Shields and say, "Don't hit me."
Yeah. I think that goes along the lines of that alpha thing for sure. I think it's kind of that.
Andy's trying to get me arrested and carted out the cuffs.
Yeah.
Which I was.
Which he wouldn't realize that would have some pretty negative impact on him if that were to happen.
Well,
so.
You wait till I get home.
Not just that, but I mean,
no, just
your dad gets arrested. That's kind of a big deal.
And I get arrested because of you. Boy, you better watch out when I post bond. Because I'm going to give him a reason to lock me up.
Right.
I'm going to give him a reason, Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I'll give you a reason to cry. It's a famous line I heard growing up a lot. But Kelly, we got a jam-packed show today. We got a couple different things we're going to talk about. We're going to look at some of the bubble teams for the college football playoff. We're also going to, in conjunction with that, talk about how the SEC, of course they do, but they want to push for the end of automatic qualifiers for the college football playoff.
They're not wrong.
They're not wrong, and they're not right either.
No, but they're not wrong. We've talked about it here first, long before they did.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Brian Kelly buyout lawsuit that's happening with him and LSU.
LSU's in a pickle. They're in a pickle.
Some different things going on there. We have an update on the Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase pitch rigging scandal with the Cleveland Guardians.
Universal throughout the entire baseball league. It's not just two pitchers.
Right.
Two pitchers are going to feel the wrath. It's universal. Every professional sport is rigged and scripted, Ryan. Every one of them.
Yeah, you came in with some pretty hot energy on that.
I'm telling you, everything is.
Yeah.
It's sports betting. It's
all
all sports betting.
Must be your generation.
It's money.
Because my dad last night was doing the same thing. Oh, the fix is in, all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but I don't have to watch the Chiefs lose to know it. I can just watch all
Are
these
you on
headlines.
Twitter a lot?
Not as much anymore.
You were, though?
No.
There's some Twitter brain rot stuff going on right now. That's just kind of like
no, I haven't been on that hardly at all. No, I check a few things, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
And not just Twitter. It's like social media brain rot.
Sports betting won't survive without all the scripts and rigs and all this stuff that's going.
That's a bold claim. That's a very bold claim.
Come on. I'll cite countless examples. I already have. I'll sound countless. I don't even know what I just said. Okay, carry on with our itinerary.
Yeah, and then we'll get into the New York Giants firing Brian Dabol.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming
on Monday. I honestly, it kind of caught me off guard a little bit because I thought they were just going to kind of ride it out.
Dude,
dude,
your quarterback, your rookie quarterback's been evaluated for 4 concussions already. Right? You had to start the year with Russell Wilson, who was a shit show anyway. Multiple of your players are gone for the season with ACL and MCL tears, injuries, surgery, whatever the case is. Like, you're missing your quality skill position dudes, and your one dude is probably mentally cuckoo with concussions half the time when he's out there playing.
Yeah.
It's not like he's playing with, how do you say this? Playing with a full deck? I mean, you don't even have your dudes. You don't even have your guys.
Yeah.
I mean, is it a fair shake? I don't know. I know it's a win now thing, but holy crap. Could you stack it up any higher against Brian Dabol?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where if I go through the key reasons here, we can just start here, as to why he was fired. It's not unwarranted for sure, and it wasn't. I'm just surprised it happened now, based on some of the other things that are going on in the league, where it's like, well, that's interesting.
Segue to the next
especially
one.
Since they went out and drafted his quarterback that he wanted because he saw shades of Josh Allen and Jackson Dart. So it's like, I thought they were going to give him a chance at least. But
yeah. Segue into the next one right here. Was he really formally fired? Was he formally fired, Ryan? Did the Giants formally fire him?
Okay. Well, let's just start off here with Brian Dabol, because it's kind of the more contained thing. All these other ones kind of bleed into one another for lack of a better phrase. But on Monday, November 10th, 2025, midway through their his fourth season with the team, the move came after the Giants fell to a disappointing 2-8 record and a pretty embarrassing fourth quarter collapse against the Chicago Bears on Sunday. So they were up by 10 points with less than 3 minutes to go.
4 freaking times this year.
Well, yeah.
But yes. That game in particular,
and ended up imploding. Dabol's firing is notable because he won the AP NFL Coach of the Year after just 2 seasons prior, leading the Giants to a playoff berth in 2022. While the 2-8 record was an immediate trigger, and a combination of team performance, internal issues, and player safety concerns led to the decision, Dabol overall, his playoff run, and through 2023 and the date of his hiring, the Giants held a dismal 5-22 regular season record since 2022. So they've had some late game collapses. The Giants developed a reputation for blowing leads. They had a Week 10 loss against the Bears. Second time this season they've lost the game after leading by at least 10 points or fewer with 4 minutes left remaining in the game. If you'll remember, they had a gigantic, no pun intended, collapse against Denver.
Oh, bad.
Probably one of the worst ones I've seen outside of that Indianapolis one against the Vikings last year or the year before.
I would give Denver a ton of credit, but that was scripted and rigged. So it is what it is.
So they've had disastrous performances since their playoff run in 22. They've had late game collapses, concussion protocol violations, a major contributing factor to Dabol's behavior regarding player injuries. Jackson Dart, who left this game on Sunday with yet another concussion. They violated a concussion protocol earlier where Dabol was fined $100,000 and the team was fined $200,000 for interfering with the concussion protocol after Dart was injured in a previous game. Screaming at the team doctor to find out when the QB could return. This raises serious concerns about player safety and his leadership style. And then there was also coaching staff and locker room issues. Reports have indicated a fractured environment, internal conflicts, including reports of feuds between Dabol and his defensive coordinator, as well as his general manager, Joe Sheen, who remains in his role, which is another kind of curious thing within all of this. Seems like the Giants have a lot of faith in Joe Sheen. To his credit, I feel like they've hit on a couple of draft picks, but they've also let some of those just walk out the door as well. So, yeah. Interim head coach Mike Kafka is going to be the coach the remainder of the year. And like I said, Joe Sheen remains the general manager, and now they begin their search for their next coach.
Kafka will be their guy.
You think so?
Yep, former quarterback coach under Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs. Sought after quite heavily after one of the Chiefs' Super Bowl runs. He'll be their next head.
All right.
Yep.
Interesting.
They'll give him a shot.
Well, he's got half a season to prove that he can be the guy.
Yep.
Plus, that would be a huge boost to Jackson Dart having, kind of a cohesive coaching staff as he continues to develop. So, and leaving Kafka there would be nice for him, considering you see a lot of these.
If he's available to play.
Right. That's true.
I mean, he's getting his bell rung a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it his style of play? I mean, what's the deal?
I don't know.
Goodness
I couldn't
gracious.
tell you.
And you know what?
Some guys are just prone to that.
And I can't, come at me all you want. I can't necessarily get on Dabol for that fine that he got over harassing the team doctor and doing all that when Dart went into the tent. I mean, come on. The guy's frustrated. Horrible start to the season. He's got to endure Russell Wilson and all the antics that were going on. And that one in particular, I think, was the Chiefs versus Giants. I think is where that was going on. And Dart having to come in and do his thing, and then he's got to go back out. And now we got to run Russell Wilson back on there. The crowd's booing. Everything's flipping out. I mean, he had a lot of things stacked up against him at that point. Obviously, you know that Wilson's not going to get the job done for you. Your guy's in the tent. Hey, can we get him back? Can we? And he's frustrated, right? Yeah. He's obviously very frustrated with what's going on.
And you're not entirely wrong about that, but he cannot. I mean, it has to be an unbiased opinion. So he's literally got to keep his head out of the tent.
Yeah, but he can ask what's going on. Is that what he got? Is that what he actually got the fine for? Head going in the tent?
Well, yeah, and screaming at the doctor. When is he going to be able to return?
They got to know that stuff. They got to know that stuff, right?
You will find that out, but you can't interfere in a concussion protocol.
He didn't interfere.
How do you know?
He just asked.
That's not asking. That's screaming.
So what? Everybody has a different way of asking for things.
That's not it.
Look at your children.
I'm sorry. This is not okay. Not okay, especially when you're talking about somebody's health. Like, that doesn't, to me, that literally screams that you care more about
winning.
Yeah, than you do about the person.
Yeah. Welcome to professional football. Right? It's a win now league.
No, not right.
It's a win now league.
No, not right. When you treat these guys as objects and not people, then you end up with terrible situations like the one that happened over the weekend.
You end up with Tua. No. Right? Yeah. I mean, come on.
No.
It's a win now league. Just let me know when my guy's going to be available to go back. That's it. That's
You're going to find out. You're going to find out.
Yeah, he just wanted to know. He wanted to have the jump start on it. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's BS.
Yeah, well,
that's
so
BS.
He's unemployed. So
and obviously, you get fined $100,000 because everybody else thought it was BS too. You can't interfere with a medical situation as a head coach.
He's got time to think about his mistakes now.
I don't know. You might get blacklisted after all this because it looks like every single thing here points to poor leadership and an inability to have constructive conversations with people under his leadership.
Okay, fun fact. He came from the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
OC for the Buffalo Bills, working under McDermott.
Yep.
Joe Brady steps in when Dabol takes off and takes his head coaching job, right? The minute Dabol gets fired, who gets contacted in an interview? McDermott. What does McDermott get asked about? Are you confident with Joe Brady? Are you going to stick with Joe Brady? Is Joe Brady your guy? Da-da-da-da. Why would that even happen? Because Brian Dabol, who was once your offensive coordinator and his first 2 years were with Josh Allen's first 2 years in the league, whatever it was, and suddenly you go back to the former coach who left you to go take a head coaching job.
That stuff happens all the time.
I know, but you're going to ask him if their current offensive coordinator is safe, and are you good with this guy? Are you good with Brady?
Well,
what kind of nonsense is that?
After you could only put up, 10 points, 13 points against the Dolphins? I think that's a fair question.
This occurred before that.
Okay. Still.
This occurred before that.
I think it's even more warranted now at this point.
But in any event, really, come on. Really? Would you shit can an offensive coordinator for what the Bills have done over the last 4 seasons without Brian Dabol there? Would you shit can an offensive coordinator because this guy, who used to be your OC and got fired from a team for all the things you just read off, would you really go back to them and say, hey, you good with your guy? Are you thinking about Brian maybe? Bringing Brian back? What? Media, man.
Well, you just try to stir the pot. That's a conversation that you would happen after the season, obviously. But
that's incredible.
We see it happen all the time. I mean, Matt Nagy went back to the Chiefs. You see, I mean, how many times has Josh McDaniels gone back to the Patriots after leaving?
Yeah, but they had openings, right? They don't have somebody in the
And
position.
how are those openings created, though?
Well, people got fired.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was usually a regime change, or it was just simply one of those like in Kansas City, Bieniemy. I don't know if he left or got fired or his contract.
We don't know much about him. We've talked about him 2 weeks in a row, and he's just kind of disappeared.
I don't know what happened in that deal, but there was an opening available, right? Now, did they make it available because they knew Nagy was coming back? Yeah, probably. But in any event, at least those positions were open. But this Joe Brady dude, he's holding the job and doing a good job from what you can see from the Bills' offense. And I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding with Joe Brady. Why on earth would the media provoke something like that? Hey, you good with Joe?
Stirring stuff.
That's dumb.
That's what
just
they do,
dumb.
man. That's
I
what
know,
they do.
and they just dumb.
They poke the bear.
Be better.
Whether it's sports or politics, they're always going to try to
care more. And don't be you, media.
That's really hard for them.
It's the rules of life.
So where do you think he ends up? I mean, do you think he'll probably end up as another offensive coordinator somewhere? I wouldn't imagine he gets a shot at a head coaching gig right away again. But, I mean, he'll be coaching again. Somebody will pick him up as their OC.
Who needs an OC?
Well, I mean,
obviously nothing will happen before February.
I'd take him.
Who needs an OC? He won't slip to the college ranks. I know that. No. He won't do that. But who needs a good offensive coordinator? I don't know.
Well, look at the 2 teams that played last night. That was pretty terrible as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, well, Dabol and Sirianni won't get along at all.
Sirianni he's got that hat down below his.
Let's not talk about it. He drives me crazy. Oh, look, bus in the street. Walk in front of it. Anyway, I don't think Sirianni would ever consider anything like that, and I don't think LaFleur would want that type of personality.
I don't know. We talked about it for half a second in the group chat last night. Do you think LaFleur should give up play calling duties after this disastrous start to the year?
He can't play the game for him, Ryan. I'll argue this till the end of the day.
4th and 3, game on the line. You run an inside handoff.
Who knows? They know.
You had opportunities to kick field goals earlier in the game, and you chose to punt.
Well, that's a bad call. But Philadelphia knows. hey, they can't do shit on us. They wouldn't dare try to run this thing upside. This is just one of the things where LaFleur.
Are you kidding me? They called out what the play was going to happen before it happened on that fourth down play.
That's just quality film study, Ryan. Quality film study.
They literally went. It's an inside run to this side, and they called it. And they blew it up. And that was the third time it happened over the game.
One game. That is a small sample size. One game.
Back-to-back weeks.
It doesn't matter. LaFleur should not.
Did you not see them at home against the Panthers?
Do you think I watched the Packers? No, I watched that they lose. Funny how you're just coming at him when games they lose. How about games he wins? I bet you love him then.
No.
Oh, he should keep that play.
No, absolutely not. Because we can go back and look at it. I mean, I'm a very self-aware Packer fan. Like, I know I'm not one of these people that just says shit just to say shit. Like, I think people that know me well enough, if you go back and look at the schedule and look at how things were, I think the defense has played incredibly well.
They've done well.
But when you're talking about the teams that they go up against, I mean, so the Packers came into that game last night as the eighth ranked offense in the league. But a majority of that comes from the first two games that they played and then the tie against Dallas. Since then, it's been absolutely, in my opinion, the play calling has been very suspect at best. Yeah, they put up 35, 27, and 27 against the Bengals, Cardinals, and Steelers. But, like, there were things that happened in that game where it's like, are you really going to run that again? And then they just kind of played down to their opponents. They've had opportunities at home. The embarrassment that was the Carolina game, that's just everything's very vanilla. And again, over the course of the last 9 years that I've watched him coach, I like him as a coach, but when it comes to close game scenarios and things that he decides to do at the end of close games, head scratching.
Okay.
NFC Championship game. Well, you have Aaron Rodgers, who was the MVP that year, and you decide to kick a field goal.
Well, who's the OC there? Is that the name you threw out in there?
No, Adam Stenavich.
Yeah, then give it to him.
At least try it, something different.
Do
I
it.
mean, the Lions did it. You know, Dan Campbell, as much of a rah-rah guy and not an X's and O guy as I claim that he is, I mean, they put up 40-some-odd points with him calling plays this week.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. McCarthy gave it up at one point when he was a Packers head coach. Try something different. I don't know. Because when you're over there studying your Microsoft Surface tablet in the middle of the game, trying to figure out what's going on, and you're referencing back and forth between the tablet and your Cheesecake Factory looking menu that you have over there, and you're making notes on it and doing different things.
They call that a play sheet.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You shouldn't be doing that in the middle of the game. Like, that's not a good look, man.
I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't relinquish play calling.
It's just a thought.
I think he's doing a fine job.
Because now they go to New York and play the Giants, who just fired their head coach. If that game is even close, what are we doing? You're going to play down to your opponent? Like, it doesn't get any. Like, they still have the Vikings twice. They still have the Bears twice. They got to play Detroit again. They got the Broncos in there plus Baltimore. Like,
they don't seem to have a problem beating the good teams. It's
baloney.
The bad teams.
Did you watch last night? They couldn't even move the ball down the field.
Okay, so take Philadelphia
on a Philadelphia defense that needed to rehaul over the trade deadline just to be competitive.
They lost to Cleveland and they lost to Carolina. All right, those are.
But that's not the point, Kelly. The point is when you only give up. I think they've only given up 39 total points in their losses, and they can't win. You only give up 13 points to Cleveland, and you lose. You only give up 16 points to the Panthers, and you lose. You only give up 10 points to the Eagles, and you lose.
Players got to make plays, Ryan.
Okay.
Players got to make plays.
That's fine, but if you want to be considered this young Super Bowl contending team that's on the rise, you got to score more than 7, 13, and 10.
Yeah, coaches aren't scoring the points, Ryan. Players got to make plays. They got to do better. Players got to play. Coaches can't play for them.
You're really okay. All right. How about you be an objective for once in your life instead of just sitting over there just playing the fence?
I'm being objective.
No, you're not.
You've got one of the strongest teams in the NFC. They've got
this is not considered one of the strongest teams when you barely beat Arizona. Pittsburgh, we don't even know who the heck they are. You barely beat the Bengals. You tie against the Cowboys, who are a mess. You can't beat the Browns. The Commanders have been nothing all year. You beat them. Congratulations. And then you just so happen to get Detroit on a bad day in week 1. This is a fraudulent team, man, and their season doesn't get any easier after they play the Giants.
They got 3 losses, Ryan. They got 3.
They got 3 losses and a tie, Kelly. Yeah, and they still have a majority of their games remaining are divisional games.
And when they click and everything is clicking.
That's a big win and a big if.
That's all right. But when everything is clicking and they are playing at the top of their game, are you, as an opponent coach, are you scared of them? When things are clicking and they are super efficient.
You could say that about any team. The Miami Dolphins were clicking last week. You'd be scared to play them.
We're not talking about any team. We're talking about
the premise of what you're talking about is it just goes for any team. If they're clicking, you'd be scared of them.
Yeah.
because they're professional players.
Not every team.
But this is one of the most inconsistent teams in the entire league. They can't get it together.
You're not handling this loss well. You're just not handling this loss.
I'm not handling the last 2 losses at home in games that you should be able to close out when you've had opportunities. You're at home. Yes. Take care of business at home.
Carolina, you're right. That should have been a must-win. That should have been a must-win.
And you're not dominating against teams that you should. I mean, if you want an opportunity to show that you're one of the top teams in the league, how about you beat the team that's beaten you twice at home in the last 2 seasons and has knocked you out of the playoffs?
That would help.
How about you nut up and try to find a way to beat these teams that continue to kick your ass?
What happens if they lose to the Giants? Are we taking the week off?
No, we're not taking the week off. Heads need to roll if you lose against the Giants. If you show up to New York against a 2-8 team and you're supposed to be this young up-and-coming, you went out and got Micah Parsons, you did all these things right that you were supposed to do to be a contender. If you don't blow the doors off of them to show the league that you are who you say that you are, something's got to happen. You can't come into this season with these expectations and what you've done to try to put yourself over the top and lay an egg 3 weeks in a row against 2 teams that are subpar talent. And they played perfect defense against the Eagles last night and still couldn't score more than 7 points.
True.
7.
Yeah.
And somebody's got to teach Jordan Love how to throw a deep ball that's not into triple coverage.
But the Eagles are
For the love of God, man, if your wide receiver's covered by 2 or more players, throw the ball somewhere else. If I have to watch him throw a 50-yard deep ball into triple coverage, double coverage, one more time, I'm going to lose it.
So how does that fall back on the play calling then?
4th and 3 with the game on the line, you run an inside handoff.
You're just giving examples of what Jordan Love is doing, thrown into double and triple coverage. How does that affect the play calling? That has nothing to do with play calling. You're looking at one play in particular, 4th and 3. Jordan Love and all his mishaps.
The play call. I mentioned
nonsense.
2 or 3 other things where we're punting inside our own 40 because we're scared to kick the ball.
Yeah.
Where we're not running cohesive plays at the end to try to give us a little bit more yardage to kick a field goal. Where we're running it on 4th and 3 with the game on the line.
So are you more upset
where we're not kicking field goals at home? Kick field goals early, take touchdowns late. That's the rule, is it not? That's what I've always heard. You take field goals early, you take touchdowns late. If you have opportunities.
Okay.
If you're down in the red zone and you have an opportunity to take a field goal, you take a field goal.
Take the points.
They went for it on 4th down, I think 1, 2, or 3 times early when they could have tried to take points. I understand the wind was swirling and all those things, but do something. You've got a kicker on your roster. They're carrying 2 kickers right now. One that hasn't missed a kick this year and currently holds the record for the Packers' longest field goal in franchise history. And another one in Brandon McManus, who, did you see the field goal attempt to try to win it from 64 yards?
No.
It looked like everybody that's ever swung a driver for the first time in their life trying to play golf. He completely shanked it, and it wasn't even close. I thought it got blocked. No, nobody ever touched it.
He was just trying to get a leg into it.
I understand that. But he shouldn't be kicking for 64 yards to try to tie the game.
Hey, man, Philadelphia is defending Super Bowl champs, and they only scored 10.
That's not my problem.
No, I'm just saying, they only scored 10.
I already mentioned the fact that they played perfect defense against Philadelphia.
Yep.
Good enough to win. Obviously, you scored 10 points.
Yep.
You got to do better. You have to do better. Be more creative. Do something different. He wants to run the ball, but then it's like he doesn't trust Jordan enough to be able to do these extra plays. And they just keep trying to run the ball, and that's fine. But if it's not working, sauce it up a little bit. I don't see these issues with Andy Reid. I don't see these issues with Sean McVay. I don't see these issues with Kyle Shanahan, who are dealing with, in some ways, lesser overall talent. Minus maybe Sean McVay. They have a really good offense and a lot of good gadget players and things like that. But these brilliant offensive minds. Hello. Mac Jones with Kyle Shanahan is doing a better job than Matt LaFleur with Jordan Love at this point over the last 3 games.
So is it a Love problem or a LaFleur problem?
I think it's to me this is more on LaFleur.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan's making some pretty bad decisions down the field, but if you look at his overall stats, it's really not. But there needs to be something drawn up to take pressure, because the offensive line's terrible too. He had no time to throw last night, so you need to scheme some things up, do some things different to get the pressure off.
Philly's good, though.
I don't think we've run a screen pass one time this year. So
Philly's D-line's legit, though.
That's fine.
They're legit.
That's fine, but if you want to be who you think that you are, you got to do better than 7 and 13 points in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
I don't even mean to go down this tangent, but it's just so stupid.
Oh, poke the bear.
I don't, and especially, and here's the real kicker, right? When the Eagles decide to go for it on 4th down and throw it deep and give you field position, that's going to allow you you just need 20, 25 yards to get into field goal range to kick a game-tying field goal. Plus, you had an opportunity before they ever got the ball back to do that, and you still can't come up with something creative to get you easy yardage down the field. Like, I know it's not always a guarantee, but you look at, like, how does Andy Reid always drop these plays when he needs 15 yards?
It just sits on them.
It just
And
happens.
saves them.
That's the difference between a good team and a great team. And obviously they've got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and a couple other guys that they've been able to rely on. And I think that's another thing that's really hurting the Packers is they just don't have a go-to guy. They don't have a go-to guy.
Well, arguably their best offensive
3rd and 10,
player.
you need a first down. Who are you going to?
You're going to Kraft.
Who tore his ACL.
Correct.
Now who are you going to?
Well, see, you got to give him a little grace.
But now who are you going to?
I don't know, Watson. Let it bounce off his head.
Okay, great. Like, there's issues here, and they just continue to think it's okay to go out there with like a bunch of B- and C+ wide receivers every single year.
You've talked about that for 2 years straight, even longer. You've talked about that.
So
Pay him, get him in, get some talent, get some people around Jordan Love. You talk about it.
And I love, Cowboy fans complain about the fact that Micah Parsons doesn't show up during big games. I would disagree that if you watched him throughout that entire game, he was constantly getting pressure on Hurts. It's the other guys that weren't containing. I saw Rashawn Gary as Parsons is blowing up the middle and Hurts rolls out to his right. Gary literally looks like he's just standing still and not moving, not containing the left side. And if you've got a guy like that that's going to wreck the middle, dude, just contain your left side. Just get ready to run after him on the left side and don't let him get outside. But somehow he gets caught inside on his block, and you can see he just takes the play off and doesn't really even run after him. So he leads the league in QB pressures, and he gets double teamed, triple teamed all the time. He's getting held. I don't believe he doesn't show up in these big games. I think it's just the simple fact that he is such a game wrecker that they are able to put guys against him, double team him, do all these things that I'm talking about. But it's the other guys that need to step up and make those impact plays even more impactful. So I don't know. It's frustrating for sure. And this is kind of what I was afraid of. Everybody's like, oh, you guys are going to be so good after 2 weeks, blah, blah, and all this other stuff. But I mean, and Hurts is a hard guy to sack anyway, right? Because he moves, does. And how come we can't officiate anything anymore?
I don't know. I'll tell you.
Sirianni complaining about a false start was the funniest thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
Douche.
All 50 of them that have occurred already earlier this season, because he wasn't complaining when they did it against Kansas City with about 6 false starts on the old tush push. No.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So.
And in the interest of full disclosure, I watched the first 2 series for each team last night, and I was very underwhelmed by what I was watching, and then they kept panning over to Sirianni, and I'm like, nope, I can't do this anymore. So I started watching Yellowstone with my wife.
Oh, wow.
And I pulled my phone up, and I'm like, oh, look, 0-0 at halftime. What a great game this is.
Yeah.
And then this morning I get up, and I'm like, wonder how that game turned out last night. And I saw 10-7. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I never flipped over to that. So, no, all of this that you're speaking of, I didn't watch any of it. I didn't watch any of it. None. I just wanted to poke at you a little bit.
That's fine. You can poke at me. I mean, it's just it's just crazy at this point. Like,
it's rigged. It's scripted.
Yeah.
See?
Sure.
Coming to my side yet?
No.
Yes, you are.
No. Not at this point. I just think there's too many variables that go on for any of this stuff to be 100% scripted.
Kraft was big, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Losing Kraft was huge.
Yeah, he's
for your
like
offense.
leading tight ends in all important categories with catches, yards, and touchdowns.
And I'm telling you, that weighs on a quarterback. When they know that their go-to and their surefire guy is gone, it happens with all the great ones. Mahomes, same thing. When he didn't have Rashee Rice most of last year, other than 1-2 games, whatever, but he didn't have Rashee Rice. Okay, we got to find somebody. Okay, now we got Xavier Worthy. When Rice was gone this year for a suspension, Worthy was out with a bunged-up knee, whatever the case was. Same type of thing happens. When they know that surefire go-to guy is not available, it weighs on them pretty heavily. And it throws their dynamics and it throws all of their rhythm completely out of freaking whack. And I know I've had people, These people have never played a down of football in their life, and they come at me and they're like, oh, they practice all week without him. They should know how to play. Nope. You don't understand the speed of the game, and you do not understand the rhythm. You don't understand the rhythm. You can practice every single freaking day leading up to game time, and you can have the most dysfunctional, unorganized practice all week long because we're trying to find a rhythm. We're trying to figure out what works. We're trying to find alternatives to what we would normally do with our playmakers, and nothing is working right, and it looks like shit. You have a full shitty week of practice, but you just gotta, they practice all week, they'll figure something. You don't understand how that works. And I've heard that countless freaking times when it comes to that. I didn't even try to defend the lack of offensive line for the Chiefs in that Super Bowl several years ago. I didn't even try to defend it. Not one of those guys was starting at the beginning of the season. Yeah. Not one of them. And they come in and they go against Tampa Bay, and they get completely dismantled. And it's like, well, you've had all season to try to figure it out. They had 19 different lineup changes throughout the frickin' season that they were trying to acclimate to. Like, you don't understand. And then you lose a playmaker like Kraft. You know where Love is looking. Snap of the ball, you know where he's looking. Where the hell is Kraft? Yeah. Oh, he's not there. Okay, I'm going to throw to Watson. Well, he doesn't catch the ball all that well. Yeah. Nor does he adjust to it all that well. Anyway, whatever.
Well, and that was another aspect of it last night where we're kind of watching the game, my dad, my brother, and I, and it was like Jordan was having a hard time going through his progressions. It just seemed like he would look for one guy and not be able to go through his progressions if it wasn't there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a pass that got tipped, and like where it looked like he was throwing it was like, I'm very glad that got tipped because I have no idea where he was planning on throwing that because all I saw was white jerseys.
Yep. Anymore, the way that these offensive plays are constructed. Oh, what do we got going? Okay. The way these offensive plays are constructed anymore is they don't have to go through progressions. If one's not open, two should be. And they've got it pretty much dialed in like that, right? And I always joke about Lamar Jackson. He doesn't go through progressions. He's not reading a defense. He's not doing anything. Their play calls are set up. They look at the strength. The quarterback reviews it, sees it. Where's the safety? Who's over the top? Da-da-da-da. They know I'm going to have either one or two available because of the way they develop the freaking plays. Well, when you're one or you're two, whoever Kraft is, which most likely one, is gone, okay, well, now it's going to take a little bit longer. So the other guy, when he's covered, because they know they don't have to cover a Kraft anymore, so they're going to cover your number one, and they're going to double him or bracket him or put one over the top or whatever they do with him. When he's got to get to that third one, and he's not used to going to that read, it looks slow. You say they didn't give him enough time. I don't know. If they're used to throwing the ball in 2.8 seconds versus 3.1, I don't have any idea. I don't know what the pass rush was like or whatever. But yeah, it throws the flow completely out on these teams. Completely out.
Just between the play calling and then, Jordan Love, all he did was talk about, we just got to go out there in the beginning of the game. I think he said make plays like 6 or 7 times.
I mean, what really happens if they lose to the Giants?
They fall to 4. I mean, they're third in the division right now, and they'd be 7th in the conference, so they would drop to 5, 4, and 1 with, the Bears, who are all like looking to be up and coming, and the Lions are picking right back up where they left off last year. So
you've seen this time and time again, right? Coach is out. Right? Coach is out. Players are now pissed off because they're like, hey, we got to rally. We got to come together. Maybe they didn't like Dabol. Maybe they did. Whatever. But we got to rally. We got to come together. This sucks. They're starting to roll people, right? They're starting to get rid of people in the organization. We all want to play for Kafka. We love Kafka. He comes in. He's smart mind, doing all this stuff. We're going to play well for him, and they're going to have a little extra energy that night. You've seen it countless times where somebody loses a coach and the very next play or the next several games in a row, all of a sudden it's like, where the hell was this team? See, that was the right call getting rid of him, blah, blah, blah. Where was this team? No, they come in with a different energy. They pretty much can manufacture their own, right? They manufacture their own motivation and energy and whatever. Giants might come out like that. Giants might come out. Green Bay might have a really difficult week again. And it has nothing to do with what the Packers are.
That's all fine and well, but you've gotten beat twice at home. You've been embarrassed in both games. You can't score points. You are obviously the more talented team because you're not. And having their best offensive lineman go down with a broken leg last night definitely doesn't help their offensive line issues either. So, I mean, they're dealing with a couple of injuries here and there, but you're still paper to paper, pound for pound, the more talented team. Whatever motivation the Giants have, great. But you should be more motivated for several reasons. Number one being the fact that you've been embarrassed 2 weeks in a row at home. Mm-hmm. You were anointed as the best team in the NFL after 2 weeks by beating the Lions, and the Commanders, and since then you have not even shown a shade of that team from weeks 1 and 2.
Yeah, but Packer fans aren't coming down hard on their team for a 3-point loss to the Eagles.
I think it's just it's the optics of the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it doesn't feel like we have 5 wins.
They're still hanging on to the Carolina loss for sure.
Well, it doesn't feel like even the Arizona and the Cincinnati game don't feel like wins. It just feels like we kind of scraped by.
Did
right?
just enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really feel like we've watched a good team play in what I would consider almost 5 weeks. Is kind of where it's at, because you had a bye week, and then you've played these 4 games where you've won 2 and you've lost 2, but you've not really shown that you're. I think the standard is high in Green Bay. It always has been, and when you're not playing up to the potential of what could be a Super Bowl team and showing that bothers us. That's like, well, this is just a waste of time then, because we know that the team that we've seen for the last 5 or 6 weeks is not good enough to win the Super Bowl.
How much can you put on Love? Being the objective Packer fan, you're a realist. How much can you put on Love?
Well, I don't know, because there are games. I thought he played really well against the Steelers. I thought he played really well against. He had some good plays and consistent play against those other 2 wins that they had for sure.
Yeah.
His stats would say that he's playing fine.
Okay.
Coming into last night, I think he had 13 touchdowns and he's completing 71% of his passes. He's got 3 picks. He's making decent decisions outside of those 50-yard down the field throws that I talk about that are always finding a way to be thrown into triple coverage, which I don't understand. And obviously I was spoiled for 18 years by watching Aaron Rodgers throw a ball. Hate him, love him, whatever. He is the best. He is the best pure passer of the football I think we've ever seen.
Yep.
And so now I have to watch this, and it's different.
See, but I'm asking you to look beyond the numbers, which
my eyes have always told me that he's not as good as the stats say that it is.
There you go. Because somebody can be 14 of 17, right? Quarterback can be 14 of 17 for 2 touchdowns.
Right.
What happened on the 3 incompletions? And how many of those were like, what the F was that? That's what you don't see.
But I'm trying to overlay that with what I've seen for 18 years versus, because I mean, you get spoiled when you get to watch that, and then you get this, and it's like my eyes. The stats don't line up with what my eyes are seeing, but it's also a completely different type of football.
Right.
So like it's hard for me to really give you an answer for that, because I've been used to seeing things one way for the longest time.
Correct. So
I have to imagine it's the same way for a lot of people that watched Tom Brady and Peyton Manning for a long time, and so, and it'll be the same way for Bills fans when they no longer get to watch Josh Allen. They have to watch somebody else come in and play. It's just going to be this jarring thing.
I've said it about Mahomes for the last 5 years. Right? We talk about his numbers declining for 2 years or whatever the case is, but the eye test shows me that if I need a clutch quarterback and a guy in that moment to go, that's the guy I'm going to take.
Yeah,
I don't care how he holds the ball too long or he does whatever it is and he won't take the short game and whatever. I know when it comes to crunch time, backs are against the wall and we got to go, I'm taking that guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that guy.
I mean, there was even a play on Sunday night. I know the Steelers only put up like 3 points, but there's a play where Aaron Rodgers breaks out to his left. It's the one where he missed DK by 2 steps into the end zone. But it looked like Rodgers from 4 years ago, where he breaks out to the left, flips his hips, flicks it, and it's like, oh man, dude, that's going to be on a perfect dart for a touchdown, and he just missed it. But I mean, that's the type of stuff I was used to him hitting for a long time, and I haven't seen Jordan really do much of that. It's like I'm always thrown off the back foot. The decision-making down the field isn't great. I don't know. So he's not a bad quarterback. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I view him and Jalen Hurts kind of, it was like watching 2 teams play, or the same team play one another last night is what it kind of felt like.
So ultimately this started as, and we spent way too much time on this already, and I'm sorry.
LaFleur or Love?
Well, it started as play calling. Maybe it's time for play calling to go to somebody else. Does the play calling need to go to somebody else, or do we need to change what we're calling based on who's trying to execute the play?
Yeah. I'm
not saying dummy it down. That's not what I'm saying.
I think LaFleur, especially last night, got stuck in what he wanted to do rather than what he should do, and he wanted to run the football. Yep. And so that's why Jacobs got all the touches that he did and all that other stuff, and that's fine, but it became so predictable that the Eagles were able to call it out before it happened.
Yep.
And I think you need to make an adjustment at that point. I mean, there was even one time where Love goes up to the line and he goes, can, and he's switching the play, and you can hear the linebacker turn back and go, hey, this is a run play. And sure enough, it was a run play to the left side, and they knew exactly what was going on, and they stuffed it. I mean, like, where's this chess match? Like, is for Love, you got to recognize that. Like, if we can hear it, you're at home. That shouldn't be a problem for you to hear what they're saying on the other side. You're right there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and this is an argument that my brother and I have had all the time. Like when you have a team that's not playing up to what you think the potential is this a coaching issue or is it a player issue or an execution issue?
Yes.
And sometimes you have to play outside the scheme. You know, you see the great ones do it all the time where, especially a great defensive player, right? A lot of times we see these guys get locked in on what they're supposed to do. They get locked in blocking rather than shedding a block or doing something different defensively to go make a play on the ball.
Yep.
But the great ones are like, they recognize it. They play outside the scheme and go make a play because they've studied it, they recognize it, and they know they have the ability to do it, even though that was not scripted for what they were supposed to do on that play. It's like, do we have those guys? Are there going to be guys that are just going to play outside of it? If you notice that they know what you're going to play or what you're going to call as far as that play goes, do you still run it? I don't know. Like, and I know I'm overanalyzing this like crazy.
Well, what you're talking about with the defensive dudes just taking off and seeing things, and we're just kind of going to go rogue, we call that cowboying it.
Sure.
And what we found generally is when you cowboy it, you might be right. Of 10 total plays, you might be right on 2 or 3 of them.
All right.
And the other 7.
And I'm not saying do that all the time, but it was guys like Ed Reed in the backfield or in the defensive back that would do crazy things to make plays because he would cowboy it because he would go off his instinct and what he knew. I'm not saying he did that all the time, but there's a time and place to do it.
Yep.
As I think, and I use that as an example because I think there's guys that just get caught in scheme. They just get caught blocking. It was like the Rashawn Gary play.
Robots.
Why are you engaging in a block when you're a pass rusher? You just go brain dead? And I know this stuff happens really fast, but like you see Micah break up the middle, go with what the tendency is. Hurts has a tendency to roll out to his right. You're on the left side of the defensive line. Contain. As a defensive end, your main goal is to contain, is it not?
Yep, it is.
And instead you're engaging in this block and kind of only playing at half speed. It's just stuff like that just drives me nuts.
Yep.
So
you just hope that when you cowboy it, that the damage is minimal on the plays you go.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying you do it all the time, but it's that instinct. If you get up to the line and you go can for an audible and you hear the linebacker go, see, they're changing it to a run play, wouldn't you kind of maybe look back at Josh and go, hey, I'm going to fake this or do something different?
Yeah.
Or have a secondary audible play for a verbiage or a word or something? Yep. I don't know.
Or they just operate under, hey, sure, they can know the plays. They still have to stop.
I mean, I guess, but they've been stopping you even when they didn't know what the plays were.
True. True.
So I'm going to get eaten alive for this segment, but I don't even really care. I'm going to get somebody text me, you're such a crybaby.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I wouldn't say that. I just don't know that the play calling needs to shift. Maybe we have to do a better job of identifying what our
just get more creative
players right, and we have to do a better job of identifying what our players are good at.
There was a play call. They did some gadget play call, which they've tried with Savion Wilson a couple different times this year that just hasn't worked. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
If it didn't work the first 4 times this year, maybe you should just throw that play out.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's just stuff like that where I'm like, sometimes you get too cute and sometimes you just get too vanilla.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of these bigger games, like even the way they've schemed things up, especially early on in the year, I was like, oh man, that was creative. That was cool. And then they just don't do it when I don't know. Whatever. Yep. It is what it is. I mean, the season could completely change. We're only halfway through. There's a lot of time left, but it's just not encouraging. Like, you need to fix it. And luckily, I think, at least from the amount of time that I've watched football, if you have a problem on offense, that's a lot more easily fixed than it is if your defense sucks.
Yeah.
Especially in a league where the rules favor the offense pretty
heavily.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think they can figure it out and get back to what they were. And honestly, if I'm super objective now that I'm thinking about it, this is just kind of the shit that happens with them every single year where they get off to a little bit of a hot start. They have this lull. And then Toyotathon starts somewhere in November, and then they go on a streak of like 8 games where they're just the best team ever. They win a playoff game, and they get knocked out in the second round. Sure. So I just live in purgatory. It's pretty much where I'm at as a Packer fan. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, right on.
Feels a lot like the Bears.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're fraudulent too. Yeah. Don't worry.
Anyway, that wasn't on the docket, but there you go. Let's talk about something a little bit more fun. College football. I'm really enjoying the conversation around college football, what's going on, and mostly because of the fact that, like, with this new format with 12 teams, now we've got kind of like this playoff race thing going on.
Yeah.
And with playoff races, there's always bubble teams, Kelly.
Yes, and I will start with this. I very much appreciate you guys leaving me alone regarding the Penn State-Indiana game.
Whatever.
Because you talk about do something different. We saw a lot of James Franklin-ish things in the later stages of that game, and James Franklin wasn't on those sidelines.
It took the catch/throw of the year to beat you guys.
I understand, but 3 consecutive plays up the middle as Indiana's burning their timeouts, and we don't even try to do a toss sweep. We don't try to do a quick hitter to an out on a tight end who's been catching a quick out all day long. We don't try to do anything other than just a basic vanilla run up the middle. Everybody is, their entire defensive unit is saying, they're going to do it again. Are they really going to do it again? They're going to do it again. And they did it again. And they didn't run enough freaking time off the clock, right? They didn't run enough time.
Matt LaFleur's on the phone. You should do that again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And old Terry Smith, they're the interim coach, is like, yeah, we will.
All right, cool.
That sounds great.
Thanks for your advice. Appreciate it.
We might break one of these. Yeah. No, you're not.
Or better yet, I like the image of Matt LaFleur watching that game and like taking notes on what Penn State's doing. Run the same play 3 times.
Check.
Let the defense know exactly what you're doing.
Yep, and I just wanted to explode on social media because all these wannabe Penn State fans saying how the defense was such a letdown. You're playing the number 2 team in the country, and with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in the game, you've got a freaking lead. And defense kept them in that game. Because Indiana could have ran away with that game countless different times. With the Heisman quarterback Mendoza and all this other crap that they were doing, they could have ran away with that game immediately. But they want to blame the defense. Why? Because it was the last on the field. Granted, yes, Penn State's offense was back on the field for the final 39 seconds, whatever it was. But that defense was the last unit on the field, must have a stop, must have whatever. And the kid made a phenomenal catch.
It was like his feet like gravitated back towards the
how he lifted the right foot as his left foot was getting down.
I like to imagine that was a Angels in the outfield moment where there was like some angel just kind of like pushing his foot back towards the
yeah, see, and mark. The difference in college and NFL football. In NFL, that's an incomplete pass because it's not toe touches first, then heel.
Yeah.
Right? In the NFL, it's like foot.
Yeah.
Oh, he was on the white line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Isaiah Likely, Baltimore, whatever.
Yeah.
That's the difference in that. But that kid made a phenomenal catch, and how he was like, he was all contorted and still trying to focus on catching the ball. And
crazy.
Am I going to hit the freaking goalpost? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get one foot up. But anyway.
Yeah. So under the new, so those that don't know, under the new 12-team format, the playoff consists of the 5 highest-ranked conference champions and the 7 highest-ranked at-large selections. So with the Big Ten, SEC dominating the top 4, the final 6 spots are up for a frantic race. So the most crucial bubble teams right now are primarily from the SEC, the Big 12, and 1 independent team. I think we all know who the independent is if you've been watching closely enough. The SEC teams consist of Texas, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt, with Notre Dame being the independent, BYU being in the Big 12, Utah in the Big 12. So those are kind of the bubble teams for the most part. Texas, obviously big brand. They have a head-to-head win versus Oklahoma. 2 weaknesses are the fact that they have 2 early losses, one against, and then they play Georgia this week in a must-win game to maintain their relevance. So a couple of really good matchups happening this week, Kelly. I think Week 10 is going to be super fun from that aspect, because I think doesn't Oklahoma play Alabama this week too? Yeah. So Oklahoma, who's also 7-2, they're also an SEC team. They've got a win over Tennessee. They've also got 2 losses, but they play number 4 Alabama in a do-or-die moment game as well. So you've got Texas going up against Georgia, Oklahoma going up against Alabama. I believe at the time of me writing this, I think Alabama is actually higher than number 4. Are they number 2 now or something like that? I think they're. I got to take a look at this.
I didn't actually look Monday morning. I don't know.
CFP rankings. I feel like Bama was higher. Nope, that's right. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3. A lot of people are saying A&M's kind of fraudulent, but we'll see. Oh, this is Week 10 though. Is this not updated? Did they update? They updated today, don't they?
What is today?
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah. See, I generally look Monday afternoon, and it's never updated.
Ranking predictions as of 3 hours ago.
Okay. Yeah, Penn State's in that one.
Yeah, so this one they've got. This is for Week 12 projections. Obviously not out yet. These projections are as of Sunday, November 9th. So they've got Ohio State, Texas A&M, Indiana, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, Oklahoma, BYU, and Utah in your top 13 with Vanderbilt there as well. So yeah, 2 really big games there between Texas and Oklahoma, or Texas and Georgia, and then Oklahoma versus Alabama. big question marks start to enter the conversation if Texas and Oklahoma both win those games. Now you've got a whole shakeup. Vanderbilt also SEC, two games that they've lost. Notre Dame, an independent that's got 2 losses as well. They have a big game this week against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, who's actually ranked, I think they're like 23rd in the nation or something like that. So another big game there. So it's 3 huge games to watch that'll have CFP implications for that as well. What are your thoughts on these bubble teams, Kelly? Are you thinking anybody here between Texas, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Notre Dame, BYU, Utah, any of these catching your eye that you're like, man, would really like to see them in or really like to see them get bounced? Or are you just praying for chaos?
Well, if I were holding my breath, I don't think I would trust BYU, and I don't think I would trust Vanderbilt.
Okay.
I just don't. I don't. They feel Boise State to me.
All right.
Is how they feel, right? But for any of these guys, any loss moving forward from here on out, obviously we're that close to the college football playoffs, but any loss, even to a top-ranked team, is disaster. You're done. Texas,
Oklahoma, if they both lose, they'd have 3 losses. There's no way they get in. Vanderbilt, if they lose, they've got 3 losses. There's no way they get in.
No.
It's going to be hard for them to even get in as it is right now, potentially. Notre Dame, with their 2 early losses, they need to win this to kind of solidify it. BYU would have 2 losses, but they're also in that Big 12, which is kind of like, okay, kind of need to win the conference to kind of get in, I would guess.
Yeah.
Same thing with Utah, 2 losses.
It feels very top-heavy.
Yeah,
like
for
it's
sure.
Extremely top-heavy. So
spoilers listed here. SEC spoilers: 1 loss Ole Miss at 9-1, 2 loss Texas, 2 loss Oklahoma. All considered highly likely inclusions based on current betting odds, but Texas and Oklahoma schedules are still challenging. Again, as mentioned, if Texas or Oklahoma loses their game to Georgia and Alabama, they're definitely done. There's no way you get in with 3 losses unless you're Alabama and they really like you and they have a close conversation. Wasn't it Alabama last year that had 3 losses and still almost got in?
Yeah.
Something to that effect?
Yeah, to answer your question, I want total chaos.
Yeah,
I want chaos. I want Texas to win.
Oklahoma to win.
And I want Oklahoma to win, and I want to see what happens. Are you going to leave Georgia and Alabama out? We're going to find out. I want total flipping chaos. I do.
Yeah. That would be an interesting thing. I still don't think they get left out. This is just too big of a brand, and then that would leave them with only 2 losses as well to high-ranked opponents. I don't think that knocks them out completely.
Right, but with the SEC, segue, with the SEC now pushing for the auto qualifiers. And
that doesn't matter this year, though.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Here, you've got a strong case this year, SEC. You've got a strong case. Hey, the auto qualifiers bullcrap. We need to go with records and strength of schedule and everything else. I would like to see absolute chaos in the final closing weeks to the playoffs. That's what I want to see.
Well, that would be an interesting thing because let's play into the future. Let's say the SEC gets their wish, where they are pushing to end the CFP automatic qualifiers. The proposal is that there would be no automatic bids. So if you win your conference, doesn't matter. The automatic qualifier would go away, and they would just take the top 12 teams and put them in the playoff.
Yep.
So, which would be interesting if that happened this year, because if you had both Georgia and Alabama lose,
yep, see ya.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would knock them out of the top 12.
See ya.
With 2 losses.
Yep.
Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't, but I don't know. So now it kind of goes back to, all right, now you're cannibalizing each other, where the SEC's goal within this is to get the most SEC teams in the college football playoff that they can. Right now, they're probably maxed out at like 5 or 6.
7.
Yeah, I think they really want to see 12. That's what they really want to see, because they don't want to have your BYUs. They don't want to have your Boise States get in there. They think it kind of murkies things up. Yep. They would rather see these bigger powerhouses. I think from that standpoint, I don't like it. I like the fact that you can get some of these other kind of obscure teams in there to kind of shake things up a little bit, even if they do end up getting blown out by 30 points.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of fun to be able to represent those lesser conferences. If you do it this way, then it's just the rich get richer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it also does kind of clarify things, though, too, because now you're not dealing with a bunch of these arbitrary qualifications that you might need to get in.
But think about it this way. If the SEC were successful with this, and you're putting really strong freaking teams, right? So your list of 12 are based on record, strength of schedule, whatever, and they are really strong teams. They are beating the piss out of each other.
Which I agree with.
First playoff game right up until the championship, as opposed to somebody playing SMU or somebody playing Boise State, like we've seen, where it's not an easy game, right? They're a qualified team, and it's not an easy game, but it's not beating the hell out of each other from the start of the playoffs through the championship.
Yeah. And while I do tend to agree with that, then it just becomes, then we might as well just turn it into a 2-conference thing and have the Big Ten and the SEC just play in the college football playoff and just have it that way.
Pretty much.
Because that's all that's going to turn into. you're going to end up with 6 or 7 teams from the SEC, and you'll end up with another 4 or 5 from the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And maybe another one will squeak in as an independent, a la Notre Dame, or an ACC team like, when Clemson's actually good, or Miami or whoever. But I mean, it's just the whole reason they want this is to get the most SEC teams in there as they can.
Yep.
So, and especially with that conference on the rise, and I mean, when you've got Vanderbilt playing as well as they are in college football and kind of making some noise, like, I can see why they'd want to do this, but ultimately, I still think there needs to be some sort of merit for competing and winning your conference, though. Too, there has to be something to say about that.
Well, that's why everybody's.
What do you do? So you win the Pac-12 or whatever it is, and you just don't get to. Pac-12's not even in existence anymore.
No, but see that, and that's why everybody left, because you had what you're speaking of is accurate.
You win the Mountain West, and it doesn't. What do you get? You
get nothing.
Okay,
you get nothing, and that's why teams were leaving. That's why Oregon, UCLA, USC, and all those teams are now in the Big Ten, right? Because you actually have to win something to get into this damn playoff thing.
Yeah.
So everybody's bailing, and I feel bad for the Pac-12. I mean, it's Oregon State and Washington State. I think that's all that's left.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. I mean, hell, even Stanford joined the ACC or whoever the hell they went to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why everybody was leaving, because you actually have to play in a conference, in a qualifying conference to get into the playoffs. So with that in mind, the SEC's saying, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. The automatic qualifier maybe should go away, and we will give you strong teams. It just happens to work in their favor this year. But it wasn't necessarily the case last year, or at least 2 years ago. Right? The SEC wasn't the same. They didn't have the same thing. They didn't have the A&M stuff going on. They didn't have some of these other schools, that Vanderbilts and all that are up there. Tennessee was trying to get back. I mean, they didn't have that strength back then. So they've got a good argument based on what they're presenting right now conference-wise, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll just go over the key points as to why they're looking for it. So the SEC is pushing for this mainly for recent results. The SEC argues that the recent 11-week result, where the ACC champion and the highest-ranked Group 5 team are expected to be weaker than the anticipated to validate their position. Sankey, who runs the SEC and is kind of the president or whatever, noted that we don't have a Group 5 representative in the top 25, suggesting that current AQ rules could force the committee to include undeserving teams. I think he's got a point there. I think obviously you don't want anybody in there that's not deserving, but at the same time, like, you can't really control, who's going to be super good or not within a conference. It's just kind of how it is. Yep. It's the same argument that people have been making for a long time, and they finally fixed it in the NFL, where it's like, why is this 7-9 team hosting a playoff game just because their division was bad?
Right.
So you could look at it that way too. I think they fixed it this way, where it's not, you win your conference and then you get a bye week. I think you get an automatic bid if you're in, and then they realign you. So even if you're a very poor conference champion, I think you can still be ranked as low as 12, is my understanding, right? So you wouldn't be able to host a game, but you'd just be in.
Yes.
I don't mind that. So the other reason that the SEC would want it is what we've talked about already, where it maximizes SEC inclusion. Under the current format, it guarantees a spot for the 6 highest-ranked conference champions by eliminating the AQ rule of the SEC and potentially the Big Ten. Would likely see more of its highly ranked non-champion teams selected over lower-rated champion from a weaker Power 5 conference like the ACC or the Group of 5. That would be in there. So deadline, Sankey has suggested that the end of November is a soft deadline for format changes due to media explanations, as ESPN is paying $7.8 billion for the next contract and needs to clarify on the structure.
That's it.
So
I think that we have talked at length multiple times about, regardless of what they do, they're never going to get this right. Right? They're never going to please anyone. They're never, it's always, it feels like it's going to be 50-50 split down the middle, regardless of what rule changes, regardless of all this stuff. Obviously, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, they're all going to push and push and push to try to make things more favorable for their conference as it relates to the playoffs. It's what they're going to do. And they've got all these schools joining their conference. Big 10 is now what? Big 18, Big 19, whatever the hell they are. They got all these damn schools in there now. SEC, everybody's peeling out of the Big 12, going to the SEC. They're all going to do this, and I don't think they're ever going to get it right. But in the grand scheme of things, as a fan, I want entertainment, right? I would love to see really strong freaking schools make up that top 12, and they just beat the hell out of each other from the first week of the playoffs through the championship. I'd love it. I'd love it because Penn State was in it last year, and they played, SMU 2 years ago, whatever it was. They played Boise State last year. I mean, going into that, it's like, really? SMU or Boise State or whatever? And the games weren't necessarily close. Now, make it Penn State, Ohio State to open that thing up.
Yeah.
I mean, let them just beat the hell out of each
The
other.
Arizona State thing was fun last year, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you get that every once in a while. I mean, my only argument to that would be, like, what stops that from just turning into professional sports? Like, you've already got NIL, you got transfer portal. Now you're just letting all the really good teams just beat up on one another. Why not just turn the Division I into the top 50 schools and kick everybody else out?
True.
You know, like, what stop? Like, I think part of the allure, especially for the college, like the diehard college football fans that I know, they like the fact that little old so-and-so can get in there and kind of maybe cause a little bit of trouble, right?
Well, they love that about March Madness and hoops, right?
That's what I mean.
They love
That's
those
what I
little
mean.
underdogs.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So that would be the argument against it for me. And I totally understand what you're saying too, because I think that creates a better product when you have the best of the best playing one another. And you're right, they're never going to get it 100% perfect, but I think for college football, as of recent, and then if you also look at the history of how they've chosen their champions, I think this format currently that they have this year, I think is about as perfect as it can get. Yeah. Because it's drawing people to the game that maybe were only interested in a couple matchups here and there, but now you've got, like I've always said, I'm not the biggest college football guy, but I love what's happening here. It makes it interesting. It makes me want to get ready for Saturday to see if Texas can push, Georgia to the limit and get in and see what they're like with their back against the wall or whoever, right?
Just to watch the voters sweat.
Right?
When you watch the top dogs like Georgia and Alabama fall, my God, what are we going to do? How do we keep them in this? Yeah. Like who?
Well, and when you've got teams like Indiana that come out of nowhere and are just like really stinking good, and they're causing their own little bit of trouble, right? A lot of people are believers in A&M, but I really think the sport's better when both Texas and Texas A&M are good. I think it just adds more intrigue. Oregon squeaks by; they continue to win. All of it. So I think it's just very interesting. Even BYU just kind of hanging out. They're always kind of just hanging around every single year, it seems like, with that team. And, Miami's maybe not completely out of it. They're still a 2-loss team, Georgia Tech. So a couple of these other teams that are just kind of lurking in the background here. If there's chaos, if we have Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, if any of those teams go down, I mean, who knows what the hell happens here? Because then you've got teams that could sneak in with anybody from pretty much, what do you think, like 19 to 11?
Yeah.
That could all kind of switch things up. And Michigan quietly hanging out at 18 with 7-2.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech's a sleeper.
And I'm sure they still have to play Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, man, what happens if Michigan beats Ohio State the last game of the year?
It can happen.
And now they're a 2-loss team with a win against the number 1 team in the nation.
Because didn't Michigan beat Ohio State last
year?
They did. And Ohio State still won the title?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. And Michigan's still hanging their hat on that.
They
saying
sure
you might have won
are.
the title, but you didn't beat us.
That's right.
So I think it creates this incredible storyline for college football that actually, in a lot of ways, for me, is trumping, and maybe it's just the way that I feel about how the Packers are playing, but it's kind of trumping a lot of the narratives that are happening in the NFL. And this is kind of a first time for me because I've always been a very heavy NFL pro guy. I've always thought the storylines have been more interesting. But every time I kind of come together with one of these things that we want to talk about, I'm like, college football is way more fun to talk about at this
I'm bringing
point.
you over, aren't I? See?
Mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just more. There's just more storylines. That's way more interesting, especially with this one. If my boy Brian Kelly, there's a buyout lawsuit happening between Brian Kelly and LSU. I'll go over kind of what I have here, and then I'll let you talk about it because I feel like you're I feel like you really have some stuff to say here. So.
LSU is in a pickle.
So
they are in trouble.
The situation is as such. So the situation began between former LSU head coach Brian Kelly and the university.
But is he a former coach, Brian?
We'll find out.
Is he a former coach?
Let me go through this and I'll let you go off on it.
Oh, they're in a pickle.
The situation between former LSU head coach Brian Kelly and the university has developed into a major legal battle over his $54 million buyout that could set a new precedent for coaching contracts. Kelly files a lawsuit on Monday, November 10th. Kelly's attorney filed a massive 48-page lawsuit against LSU in East Baton Rouge Parish. Kelly is seeking a declaratory judgment that his termination was without cause, which could compel LSU to pay the full buyout amount as stipulated in his contract. LSU's loophole, the lawsuit reveals that LSU is taking an aggressive two-pronged legal strategy to avoid the full payment. So one is not formally terminated. LSU representatives told Kelly's team that he had technically not been formally terminated by the university on October 26th, despite a public announcement and his replacement taking over. Seeking for cause of termination, so LSU informed Kelly's representatives that they now believe grounds for termination for cause existed, an argument that would allow the university to pay Kelly $0 for the remaining buyout. So there have been settlements that have been laid forth by LSU, and he's rejected all of them. Kelly had previously rejected 2 lump sum settlements from LSU, reportedly a $25 million and a $30 million, opting instead to fight for the full amount of approximately $54 million that would be paid out monthly until 2031.
Now read this slowly. This is the part that I love the most about this entire story.
Okay.
Read it nice and slow, Ryan.
So the lawsuit also claims that LSU is arguing that former athletic director Scott Woodward, who was fired days after Kelly, did not have the authority to terminate Kelly or make settlement offers, further muddying the legal waters. And Kelly's suit argues that LSU had never mentioned any for-cause issues prior to November 10th, and that his firing was repeatedly confirmed as being solely due to the team's on-field performance, a without-cause firing.
Are you really going to hang your hat in a legal situation trying to blame a former athletic director who was fired after Brian Kelly was allegedly fired, that he didn't have the authority to terminate that position? Is that the leg you're going to stand on? LSU, you're in trouble. You better find $54 million really effing quick, and you better get that check written to Brian Kelly's team.
I mean
overnight that
this
thing.
seems like they'd be lucky if he only goes for $54 million at this point.
Yeah, their backs are against the wall. When they're throwing things out like $24 million and $30 million, and he's like, yeah, no, not anymore. We gave you a deadline. You screwed this up. And now your legal argument is you were fired by somebody who didn't have the authority to do that. You've got to be better. Their legal team at LSU and whoever is representing that organization needs to do a better job. You want to talk about somebody that better go down the road? It better be that freaking legal team for LSU, because if that's the leg you're going to stand on, if that's it, if that's one of your primary arguments, you were fired by a guy that didn't have the authority to fire you.
And boys and girls,
you are in trouble.
Boys and girls, this is why you always get things in writing. Because if a representative actually did tell Kelly's team that he had technically not been formally terminated by the university on October 26th, LSU better hope that wasn't in a text or an email, and that better be like some sort of verbal communication. Because I mean, there's 90% of the evidence that you need right there.
There's a lot.
Representatives from LSU said that he was not technically terminated.
There are a lot of hard drives in Louisiana that are stacked in a pile and on fire right now.
Yeah.
This, I assure you.
Yeah. And I can understand, based on the things that are laid out here, why he wouldn't settle for $25 or $30 million when he's owed, technically an extra $24 million.
$54 million.
Yeah.
My buyout is $54 million. You
Yeah.
let me go. I was not on the sidelines for the game the week following.
Yeah.
Everybody said I'm fired. You said I'm fired. You said with or without cause, whatever. I'm fired.
Yeah, and the fact that they're arguing that they would not, that basically they didn't want to have to pay any of it, $0 after all of this, it was a contract. You chose to break it.
Yeah, you remember a week ago? When we were ranking the most attractive place to go be a head coach? How you feeling about LSU now?
Yeah, I don't know.
What a shit show. What a dumpster fire. They're in so much trouble. LSU's in a pickle.
I didn't know about the Scott Woodward thing. That was kind of
my goodness, yes.
Technically did not have the authority to terminate Kelly or make settlement offers, further muddying the legal waters. And you're saying, and I guess I don't know who was fired days after. But how would he not, if he's the athletic director and he was fired after Kelly?
Yeah, answer your own question, because I know where you're going with this.
Right.
Answer your own question.
Yeah. How would he not have the authority to terminate it if he was fired after Kelly? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes. And?
Okay, so I feel like, why are we arguing that? I don't understand. Am I missing something here?
Why do you suppose he's fired days after Brian Kelly?
Oh, because he actually didn't have the authority?
Yes.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Fall guy? What do we got?
Maybe, but okay, so riddle me this. If he didn't have the authority to fire him but still fired him anyway, wouldn't LSU be like, he didn't do that, we're actually not firing you behind closed doors, like you just let it happen? I don't understand. So who had the authority to fire him?
Wouldn't that come out again? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's not in here.
Yeah,
they don't talk about that.
I can't wait for the text to come through. The athletic director doesn't have the authority to fire anybody.
You wait till somebody finds Scott Woodward in some little shanty hiding out somewhere.
Yeah, because
LSU has just dumped probably $54 million in his pocket as a gag order to keep his mouth shut. Yeah. Wait till somebody finds Scott Woodward. And he comes back and says, oh, no, what really happened is this.
Yeah.
He's fired shortly after Brian Kelly is allegedly fired. That you've got to have a better argument than that.
I'd like to hear...
They're in trouble, Ryan.
I'd like to hear Woodward's side of it, because how would he not have the authority?
Hey, Penn State, how do you feel about now being the most attractive place to come be a coach? That's shitty. LSU's in trouble, Ryan. They're in trouble. You entered into a contract with somebody with a $54 million buyout. You fired him. I don't give a damn who fired him. Somebody that was wearing an LSU polo, whether he had the authority or not.
It was a fan.
It might have been. It might have been. Somebody fired him, right? Somebody said, you are no longer the coach. You're out of here. That guy's now fired. You're still in a contract. You're screwed. You're screwed. You were kicking offers out after you initially said, we ain't paying you nothing. Now we're kicking offers out, but you didn't meet a deadline. And he's like, oh, no. This is too ugly. This is too nasty. Shit, Brian Kelly, I hate to admit this, he might have a really solid case.
Yeah.
And he might come out way more than $54 million.
I like to imagine somebody walked into Brian Kelly's office with a fake mustache, an LSU polo, and a hello, my name is sticker with Scott Woodward written in purple crayon.
Exactly.
And it's like, Brian, it's been fun.
You're fired.
It's been real and it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. We're gonna need you to go ahead and pack up your things and leave. Who are you? I'm Scott Woodward, as you can see by the name tag.
Can't you read? I'm Scott Woodward. They call me Scotty.
Yeah.
They call me Scotty.
I like the fact that he's never met Scott Woodward either.
Nobody has.
Yeah. He's not real.
Dude isn't even real.
Yeah. Fall guy. He's a patsy. He's a patsy.
LSU's hosed.
Crazy.
They're hosed.
Yeah.
If this goes any other way, it is an absolute miracle.
Yeah.
For LSU.
I would hope and pray as LSU, man, I hope all we have to do is pay $54 million.
I would guess that anymore.
What if he takes him to court and was like, no, you need to hire me back?
Yeah.
I deserve to have my job back. You need to hire me back.
Yeah. Hey, if this guy fired me and he didn't have the authority to do so, I will have my shit back in that office in 48 hours. Yeah. Who are we getting ready for this week? Okay, go. Yeah. Go Tigers.
Yeah. Tigers. Go Tigers.
Oh, they're in so much trouble.
Yeah. Speaking of trouble, great segue. Our last story deals with something that we talked about a couple months ago, right in the middle of the baseball season. And like we teased out at the top of the show, has everything to do with Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz, who have been indicted on the MLB pitch rigging scandal. For those of you that don't remember what it was or need a refresher. So this is one of the more serious integrity threats to baseball. The pitch rigging scheme involved 2 Cleveland Guardian players that led to federal charges and immediate major changes to sports betting industry. So basically what happened was they found evidence on tape during games that these guys were basically betting on first pitch strikes, first pitch balls, those type of things, and they're basically not even close. Like they found out that they were making bets on, okay, the first pitch of this inning or this game is going to be a strike. One of these pitchers is starting, and then they throw a ball that's like 5 feet outside of the zone, right? So manipulating things, as we've seen several professional sporting athletes, coaches, people involved do over the course of this year as it just keeps continuing to grow and grow. But the indictment and players involved are Clase and Ortiz. They were indicted in the U.S. District Court in Brooklyn. The charges, they face serious federal charges, including wire fraud conspiracy, honest service wire fraud conspiracy to influence sports betting by bribery, and money laundering conspiracies. The top charges carry a potential punishment of up to 20 years in prison. Excuse me. So basically, prosecutors allege that Clase and Ortiz took bribes from 2 unnamed gamblers in their native Dominican Republic to rig specific individual pitches. The payoff, the pitchers allegedly helped the gamblers win at least $460,000 on these fraudulent bets. So how the rigging worked, The scheme targeted in-game proposition bets, or prop bets as they're known, which allowed wagering on highly granular outcomes like the result of a speed or single pitch. I didn't know about the speed one. The argument, the pitchers allegedly communicated with bettors ahead of time and agreed to throw a specific type of pitch, often a ball in the dirt or a pitch far outside of the strike zone at a particular point in the game. So examples are that Clase was accused of rigging a pitch in May of 2023 against the Dodgers. The indictment also cites specific first pitches he was allegedly rigging, including a slider that bounced well short of the home plate against a Twins batter. And Ortiz is accused of rigging pitches in June of 2025. With games against the Mariners and Cardinals, he allegedly received a $5,000 bribe for bouncing an intentional first pitch slider in a game against Seattle. $5,000. $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
$5,000. Worth it?
Absolutely.
So this impact has led to unprecedented, immediate, and unified response from MLB and authorized sportsbook across the country. So cap betting has been imposed. This basically, the MLB announced that all authorized gambling operators, such as representatives over 98% of the U.S. betting market, have agreed to cap bets on individual pitches at just $200. And these pitch level bets are now excluded from parlays. Takes one person to ruin it for everybody.
I'm telling you.
And the rationale behind it is that the MLB stated that these pitch level bets on outcomes of pitch velocity and balls and strikes present heightened integrity risk. There it is again. Heightened integrity risk because they focus on one-off events that can be determined by a single player and can be inconsequential to the outcome of the game. And the new limits are designed to specifically reduce the financial incentive to engage in misconduct. Current status of both players were that they were placed on non-disciplinary paid leave, so good thing they're still getting paid for all of this, when unusually high betting activity around their pitches was first flagged in integrity monitors. So Ortiz was arrested on Sunday.
Where?
At the Boston Logan International Airport.
I'm out of here, boys. I'm gone.
And granted a release on Monday on the condition that he surrenders his passport, restricts his travel, and posts a $500,000 bond. And Class A is not currently in U.S. custody. So the crackdown is part of a federal push to address integrity issues in professional sports gambling following a similar scandal involving the NBA.
Good luck finding Class A.
Month.
Good luck.
Kelly, WTF, man. $5,000. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're talking about, a pretty inconsequential amount of money to guys that get to play a sport for a living.
And a first pitch. A first pitch goes off the dirt.
It's never enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A first pitch.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Really unfortunate that it's kind of come down to this. I mean, you spoke about this pre-show as a broader pen stroke of the entire sports entertainment industry being more involved with this money than it needs to be. Sports betting being the main issue of a lot of the problems that we're having. Your generation specifically is calling for a lot of rigging within sports. We've talked about it on this show before. For me personally, it's hard to believe that not, a certain percentage of it is controlled. You control what you can control to try to help the outcomes, but then obviously you've got players that make plays, like you've seen one-handed catches or amazing plays where you're like, there's no way you could control that portion of the game, but interesting things happening here. Again, we're talking about the integrity of Major League Baseball.
But look at how much this blew up. I talked to my wife about this, right? And I was kind of going off on the same tangent with her that I was going off with you, that it doesn't matter the market. It doesn't matter the professional sport. It's all about sports betting. It's all about rigged. It's all about scripts. It's all about that crap. That's all it's about. She fires back a question, obviously not knowing that much, actually knowing nothing about sports betting, which I know very little, and about the professional sports abroad, right? Well, how would everybody be involved in this and nobody would ever come forward and say anything? And I told her, not everybody knows about it. And in this case, it took two pitchers, right, for the Cleveland Guardians. It took two guys. And those, now, did the managers and everybody, we talked about that previously, whatever. But it doesn't have to be everybody involved. It just has to be, in some way, shape, or form, somebody has to do something. They make a little money. They throw a bad pass. They throw a bad pitch. They don't make a shot. They miss a dunk. They do whatever. It can just be the individuals who they're going to be compensated so well from this over time. They're never going to say a word. They're not going to say anything about it, nor would they, right? It's nothing for this dude to come out and throw an opening pitch and bounce it off the dirt, right? $5,000 in my pocket. I skipped the very first pitch. No runners advanced. Nobody was hit. Nothing happened. Hell, I might have even struck the dude out in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. But I made $5,000 skipping that thing off the dirt.
Yeah.
No different for somebody in the NBA. Go up. Hey, you know what? I got a gimme. I got a gimme put back here. Back rimmed it, clanged it off. Did it affect the total outcome of the game? Maybe not. They score 130 points a game in the NBA, but somebody got $10,000 off it, right? Not everybody needs to know about it.
Yeah.
It only has to be a select few individuals. And I brought this up because of the whole Buffalo and Miami game. Buffalo's coming out playing like the strength of the AFC completely. Miami's damn near looking for a coach. They've got nothing to hang their hat on. And Miami just completely curb stomps them. Right?
Stirb kicks them.
I'm getting so excited. I can't even speak right. They come out and they curb stomp them. Right? And it's like, this isn't right. This isn't how this is supposed to go. Carolina and Green Bay was one of them, but it's like, hey, you know what? Carolina's actually trying to make a little resurgence and do some things and whatever. And they've got some players that can do that. Miami has nothing, right? And to compete against Buffalo and be down 16 and then favorably more, it's like, this is not right. Like, something is not right here. And I don't need the tinfoil hat. This is happening across every professional sport, and only a select few people need to know about it. I'm telling you. It could be something as simple, Ryan, as a quarterback who was averaging holding the ball for 2.9 seconds, and suddenly the next game he's holding it for 3.6 seconds. Now, is he making money to hold that ball the extra second? I don't know. Is he? Is the defense doing something miraculous, and all of a sudden, hey, we're giving him a look he's never seen before? These guys are professional athletes. They know what they're looking for. They know what to expect, right? I'm telling you, man, this is bullshit.
Okay, so expound upon that just a little bit. Of the percentage of players that you would quote-unquote call, I would just say call dirty. Influential, dirty players that are manipulating the system. Yeah. What percentage of the entire league would you say is 3% of it?
3%. Target the guys that can have the biggest impact and just tell them to keep your mouth shut and you will be well compensated for it. 3%. 5%.
So 3%, but you're talking of that 3%, it's basically some
guys
of the best,
that can throw the game.
The best players in the league.
Yeah, guys that have a direct impact on the game, i.e. pitchers, i.e. quarterbacks, i.e. main scorers for NBA teams. Guys that have a significant impact. They're the ones.
Interesting.
Mahomes is probably making extra money doing what he's doing. He probably is. I mean, come on.
Huh.
It's guys, potentially gals, might be in the WNBA too. Leading scorers, your best pitcher, your best quarterback, your whatever. Is it happening in hockey? Who knows?
Based on the way Angel Reese rebounds and puts balls back into the net, you're probably correct.
Yeah, maybe. Hockey, right? Who has a direct impact on the score of hockey?
The goalie. I think
Boom.
hockey. I'm more interested in how easy is the sport to manipulate. Baseball's easy to manipulate. Basketball's easy to manipulate. Hockey? Oof. That's a tough one.
Yeah, either way, your goalie, right? Throughout the year, this guy averages shots on
goal. But those
goal.
pucks are coming in at 130 miles an hour. You think you can just accidentally miss one of those?
Absolutely. When I got $50,000 in my pocket, I'll miss that sumbitch. Absolutely, I will.
Well, I mean, or you have the ability to just like catch it or not whenever you want to is the point that I'm trying to make. That's a lot harder. Yeah, okay.
There was a player in the way.
Yeah.
There was whatever.
I think you've got a decent argument with some of this other stuff, but I think hockey's a really hard, and there's not enough money in hockey to manipulate it anyway. Those guys are making $10 million on a 12-year contract.
Yeah.
They're not making anything.
$50,000 gives them a nice dinner at a steak joint.
Sure, but I mean, it's just
that player was in my way. That puck.
I have a hard time with hockey.
Either way, it's across the board. Sports betting rules, dollar signs rule. These guys are making extra money. They're doing this stuff. It's going to be a bigger problem. I told you, reading all these headlines, it's just yawn.
And you think there's just some of these other guys. You think it's the Chauncey Billups, the Clauses, the Terry Roziers of the world that are just taking the fall for some of these bigger guys.
There's not going to be
because you can't have an Ohtani, you can't have a Patrick Mahomes, you can't have a LeBron James taking the fall for some of this stuff.
No, absolutely not.
Because it'll ruin your sport.
A month is not going to go by. We're going to do this until we're 90 years old. And we're still going to be on this podcast talking, right? Until we're 90 years old. And not a month is going to happen between today and when we finally make our last recording that there's not going to be something on sports betting or something illegal that's going on by a professional athlete. It's just going to continue to come up.
So do you think it's manipulating games or just certain prop bets?
Both. I think prop bets are the easier money.
Sure.
Prop bets are way easier money.
Yeah.
Manipulating games, Absolutely.
Champions?
Absolutely. You don't think some bigwig with this big fat 6-inch cigar that's just puffing out smoke like Cheech and Chong isn't sitting back going, "Hey boys, we just lost our asses this weekend. We got to make up some money." And all of a sudden, Buffalo is losing to Miami. And all these wonky damn outcomes.
But they're professionals
are
too, like you say all the time. They're NFL players. They're the best of the best.
So
they're
are all
part
the
of
MLB guys that are getting in trouble for this sports
part of the
betting
1%.
shit. Yeah, right. No way. No way, dude. Sports betting is guiding the ship in every single organization. Don't care. Hit me up in the comments. Say whatever you want. It is. There is more shit thrown and more illegal crap going on in professional sports. After all, Ryan, what used to be one of the biggest damn things when you were a kid? WWF. Was any of it real?
No, I mean, John Cena just completed something. I don't know, Triple Crown or something like that.
John Cena wasn't in my day. Right?
I'm just saying, like, you're talking about that, and I'm like, okay, congratulations for completing whatever it is in this fake sport that just hands you things because it's scripted.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Fake all the way back to when Hulk Hogan was young, right? And Andre the Giant and all the dude that used to eat the turnbuckle and all that, whatever his name was. Whatever his name was, right? Everybody and their neighbor and their dog and their stepkid and everybody knew that it was 100% fake. But when they came to your local arena, was it sold out?
It still is. It still is.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody knows this shit is faked. Everybody knows this is rigged. Everybody knows this is...
All those booger eaters need something to do too.
But it's all about entertainment. It's all about entertainment. And people love entertainment, and they don't care. They're going to do what they need to do.
And I'm just poking you a little bit with it, but you're not entirely wrong. Like, even with Nico Harris from the Dallas Mavericks getting fired today, there were some weird things that happened in the NBA that were clearly a part of a manipulation to get the Luka to LA, and then also for Dallas to be reciprocated with the number 1 overall pick. Dallas had a less than 1% chance to receive the NBA lottery's number 1 overall pick, and they just so happened to get it after they trade away a franchise player. Behind closed doors, nobody ever gets to see the lottery balls come out. I've talked about this before. I know you're probably sick of me talking about it, but it makes no sense. They have less than a 1% chance. And when they pick the NBA lottery positioning, it's all done behind closed doors. Nobody gets to see it.
Right.
And then they bring them out in these sealed envelopes, and it just so happens to be this. And it's like how is this stuff not manipulated?
Right.
How did the Dallas Mavericks end up with the number 1 overall pick to get Cooper Flagg in replacement for losing Luka Doncic in a fly-by-night, under-the-radar trade that nobody knew about till the early morning that only resulted in 1 first-round pick? What's going on here? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then you need a fall guy, so let's just go ahead and fire the GM that did it.
Okay.
So that we can kind of save face.
Penn State really needs a wide receiver on their football program. They really need a wide receiver. They are underachieving on the wide receiver position, whether it's recruiting or portal or whatever. All of a sudden, hey, look at this. The number 2 wide receiver prospect in the state of California, who initially committed to USC and played his freshman year for USC, is entering the portal. Less than 6 hours after said athlete enters the portal, he's going to the Penn State Nittany Lions. You don't think any of that was known ahead of time? You don't think that somebody was reaching out saying, "Hey, here's a scope. Hey, coach gets it. Here's the deal." Media doesn't release that portal shit that fast. It doesn't work like that. There are behind-the-scenes things going on at every freaking level. Why? Because it's driven by money. It's all driven by money. And there's something going on behind the scenes at every single level. Look at the kid from Alabama, right? The kid from Alabama decides, hey, I'm going to go home to Iowa because I was an all-world offensive tackle or offensive guard, whatever he was, in high school in Iowa. I'm going to sign with Alabama because there's an NIL deal. So boom, down to Alabama I go. I play all 14 games as a freshman, and now it's like, I'm going to go back to Iowa. Oh, what's he got waiting for him? A brand new Ford F-150, whatever it is, NIL money coming out his ears, whatever the case is, because I'm going to leave Alabama, and I'm going to go back to Iowa, citing, Saban was fired, and I don't really want to wait around for a new coach, so I'm going to head back to my home state of Iowa. Oh, by the way, I get a new freaking truck, and I get about $250,000.
Guess I'll drive back to Alabama in my new truck.
Well, guess what? He did drive back to Alabama in his freaking truck because he got to Iowa, he got the NIL deal and the money, and then he went back to freaking Alabama. He re-entered the portal and went back. Right? Money drives it all, man. I'm telling you, it's not a tinfoil hat.
That's where
money
she
drives
belongs.
Everything
In Alabama.
I'm telling you. Nothing, not a month is going to pass. There isn't going to be something related to sports betting, somebody in trouble, underground stuff, poker games, all this other shit that we keep reading in and out. It's just going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening, and it's happening across the board.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
In this day and age, and with salary caps and with all this other stuff, you can't put together teams like you. Just look at the NFL. You don't have dynasties anymore. Chiefs aren't a dynasty. They're not a dynasty. You don't have dynasties anymore. Players and teams don't stay together long enough anymore because of salary cap and all this other crap that they do.
Dodgers.
There's no cap. They get to pay what they want. They get to pay what they want. There is no cap. We're going to extend your contract to 2099, sir. We're going to make monthly payments to you until 2099. Whatever the case is.
Warriors.
There's no cap. Oh, Golden State? Okay. And where are they now?
Well, they're still competing.
Nowhere near what they were.
Well, I mean, things happen. It's the same thing with the Patriots. The Patriots were a dynasty, and now they're not.
But they won't stay together. They won't stay together because it's not allowed anymore, and structurally it is not set up for teams.
But I mean,
to be
that's been within the last
like
10 years, though.
Yeah. Yep.
Is my point. Like, what's your time frame on this?
I don't even know where I was going.
You're talking about there's no more dynasties because of the way that things are structured, that they don't stay together because the money is being chased elsewhere. But I mean, what's your time frame on it? Is it within the last 5 years, the last 10 years, the last 20 years? Like, what are you like? When did this start?
I'll go 10.
Okay, then the Warriors would fall into that. That was a dynasty during your time frame of what you're talking about.
Did they have salary cap in NBA at that point?
Yes,
they had it the whole way.
Yeah, so they've had one. I mean,
they've go out and put together their dream team.
Yeah, they've got what they have is luxury tax penalties.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
So they have a cap, and then if you go over the cap, you get penalized a certain amount for going over the luxury tax. So there is still a cap. They still have to play within the confines of the cap and things like that. But if they go over it, which they're allowed to, then they have to pay enormous fines. But if the owner is willing to do that, then they're willing to do it. So.
Entertainment. It's purely entertainment. Yeah. It's all it is. It's entertainment.
I don't disagree with you. This is like when you grow up and you realize that maybe like your grandpa wasn't the person that you thought he was, and like the blinders kind of start to come off of it a little bit. And you're like, that's too bad. I really wish I didn't know that.
When they throw around the word integrity, I honestly feel, and this isn't me because I'm a college football homer. You're coming on board. I like this. You're coming over to the dark side, and it's college football. I know that there is a ton of money in college football. Penn State and their $700 billion, $1 million, whatever the hell it was, renovation to their stadium and all that stuff. Everybody knows that these bigger universities, most of that money is generated through the football programs. We know that. There's a ton of money in it. But when you talk about integrity, I still feel like you're going to see the most surprises and fun stories and feel-good stories and all that stuff in college football. And sometimes college basketball as well, because people still get amped up about March Madness. But that's becoming an advertising. That's becoming an entertainment factor. That's becoming all that stuff, too. They're just marketing everything now with March Madness and doing all that. Yeah. But I still feel like, as you speak...
Well, they have more to lose, right? Like those college kids, like if they get caught in a scandal, like that's... Oh,
they do.
Like, what do you do at that point,
They do.
I totally get what you're saying as far as integrity goes, things like that. I mean, there's obviously still things happening where they're manipulating the system or, I mean, even when was it Florida State that got caught with, manipulating the transfer portal and things like that a couple years ago. And
yes.
So there's still, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. If you don't get caught, it's not cheating and all that other stuff. And who knows where a lot of this, this backer money is coming from these collectives. And, you could argue that maybe if you were to lay out the entirety of like between donations and revenue and all this stuff, that like college football might even be more dominant from a dollar to dollar standpoint based on what they're paying these guys and individuals. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But you talk about college football, and I was just thinking about, or not. You just talk about college sports in general, but college basketball. You've got more opportunities, like you said, for success stories and more surprises. I think one of those things that surprised me was the fact that Rick Pitino, who is now at St. John's, has St. John's in the top 5 overall in the nation for their basketball program.
Yep.
And it's like, that is shocking. Like that's just not something that happens. You don't see him up there with the likes of, you've got here's Duke and North Carolina and Kentucky and Florida and Texas and Alabama and like all of these big name teams, and then there's just St. John's thrown in there. And I know they lost recently in one of their games. It doesn't really matter because it's basketball. But, like, you get surprises like that.
Yeah.
Program builders like that where – and I think Pitino was fired because of a scandal. I think maybe like a romantic scandal or something that was going on. I can't remember exactly what was going on. But yeah, you're right. I think there's a lot less influence because there's more to lose for those kids, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I look forward to getting roasted on that in the comments and in text messages. So
I don't care.
It's gonna be great.
Care. Prove me wrong. Prove
you can't. Wrong. I mean, I think we've said it before. There's too much money for it not to be a thing.
In the boy text group, in the boy group, in the boy group for texting every single time that something comes up about somebody did something fraudulent or betting scheme or sports betting or whatever the case is. Somebody was shaving points, whatever it is. Every time it comes up, I'm posting it. Every single time.
Do it.
Every freaking time.
We'll hold you to
because
that.
it's just going to become a recurring theme. And people know that it's happening. People know that it's happening, but there's too much money to be made where people are going to be quiet about it for as long as they possibly can. But you know this. You know this in working with even like drug offenders. Over time, you get your ass in a pickle enough. Now we're going to start rolling, right? Because we're going to offer you a deal, and we're going to offer you this, and we're going to offer you this, and we're going to throw all this enticement in front of you. And, oh yeah, I'll talk. I'll tell you everything you need to know. And I think it's coming out with the Chauncey Billups thing too. Right now it's like, oh, well, okay, now we got to go talk to this guy. Now we got to go interview this guy. And when it's all said and done, there's 30 different freaking names on an indictment of somebody that you're coming after because people just start talking.
Yeah.
Same thing's going to happen with all this sports betting and all this crap.
Yeah. It'll be interesting for sure. I mean, there's going to be a bigger name to come out of all of this at some point with everything that we're seeing, especially with the NBA stuff. Because Billups has got to know some things. There's got to be some things that he knows. And, I mean, I'm just throwing a name out there. I'm not indicting anybody on it. But, James Harden isn't going to be able to hide behind an interpreter. LeBron James isn't going to be able to hide behind an interpreter. Somebody that's, a big name within the NBA, there's not going to be some interpreter they can hide behind.
Yep.
Maybe an agent or something like that. I mean, one of the guys that works for LeBron's agency has already gotten in trouble for making bets based on insider knowledge. So I don't know. There's going to be a patsy somewhere because you have one of those guys go down, just like the Jordan thing that we talked about where he randomly decided to retire for a year and then came back.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine that killing the league if Jordan gets indicted on some sort of betting scandal like Pete Rose did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't come back from that. That's tough, especially when he was the one to build up the ratings for that for so long.
Well, and look at all the stuff that surrounded him.
Same thing that happened
look what happened
to
his dad.
Yeah, his
right?
dad.
And this random act of just a random car thievery? No.
Yeah. His dad, I mean, you think about the Kobe Bryant SA allegations that happened in Colorado with his sexual assault stuff that just kind of disappeared.
All gone.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's other instances where it's like, man, this guy's too big. If he gets in trouble outside of, the only thing they wouldn't be able to cover up is a murder or something like that.
And
I mean, even O.J. Simpson didn't get indicted on murder.
Yeah, absolutely. I just saw Elvis at Walmart.
Sorry, not indicted, but yeah, Elvis. But convicted on murder is what I meant to say. So, I don't know. It's crazy. It's one of those things. It's just too much money for it to fail. So we got to find somebody.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
No tinfoil. No tinfoil. I'm telling you, I'm completely changing my outlook on professional sports altogether.
All right.
Totally changing it. Every damn little thing I see is going to be like, yeah, look at that. Look at that. And my argument comes in today on Indianapolis versus Atlanta, right over in Germany. We're trying to incite interest in international venues, right? Let's take one of the top AFC teams and let's have them go against a middling Atlanta team. Let's run that baby into overtime and let's go all the way down to 3 minutes left in overtime. Let's give them really something to watch. Come on. Seriously. It's ruining everything for me. Everything. I need to get together with your dad. We need to have a conversation.
Oh, please, man. You guys would just,
crack open a PBR and let's get talking.
Yeah. The rig is in. It's in.
I'm telling you it is.
It's all rigged.
Every bit of it.
It's all rigged, man.
Every bit of it.
See, false start. They're not calling it.
From officiating, from officiating to the players to everything across the board. NBA, how many NBA officials have been in trouble for that crap?
That's true too.
Yeah. It's at every level. It's everywhere, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I believe that's the show. We've run a little bit long today, and that's fine. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. A couple of tangents between Packers, Penn State, gambling scandals, all of it, tinfoil hats, you name it. But we appreciate you guys always coming along on the ride for us each week. If you want to be a part of the show, you can always hit us up at thearmchairauthority@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter. You can hit us up on Instagram. Links will be there in the they'll be there in the description. If you want to leave a review, you definitely can do that. If you think we deserve 5 stars on your podcast service of choice, go ahead and do that. Tell a friend about us too. That's really the only way we can generate any more listeners. We're also on YouTube. We've got a YouTube channel. No video yet, but it's all audio. So if you prefer to watch or listen that way, that is what you can do over there. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, merch. We've got shirts. I'm wearing mine today. Kelly's got his on today too. Mine's covered up with a hoodie, but yeah. So you can find the merch over there at tpublic.com if you want to go ahead and support the podcast that way. But other than that, we will look to join you guys again next week as we get further into. Is anything real anymore? I don't know.
We're getting into the weeds.
I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm coming back again next week with even more indictments on Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur and the Packers, or if we can right the ship. So stay tuned for that.
I'm going to bring it up.
Because if they lose to the Giants, then we're going nuclear, I think.
I think we need to follow this LSU story.
Okay.
Because what's your stance on it right now? I think they're in deep potatoes. I think LSU is in trouble.
Yeah. I think what will happen, they'll end up paying the settlement and they'll move forward, and that'll be it. So
you think it's going to be $54 million or more?
I think it'll be what he's owed, and that'll be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
they'll move on. They won't want to make it a bigger story than it needs to be. Scott Woodward thing's weird. But anyway.
Scotty.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Scott. Are you 12?
That dude. Oh, Scotty was pushing him up around the hallways of the LSU Athletic.
They grabbed him by the collar and put this on.
Hey, fire his ass.
Yeah.
Go in there, fire him.
Yeah, he's got no cards. Brian Kelly. That's you, right? My name is Scott Woodward. And you're fired.
We think.
Yeah. I just like the scenario where the AD and the coach have never met one another. Like, that's just how pretentious Brian Kelly is that he just never met the athletic director. He's just the guy. He just thinks he's the guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do have the authority to fire you, sir,
Yeah.
and you are officially removed.
And he comes in there with his Cajun accent. He's like, "What do you mean I'm fired? I don't understand what's going on here. Come on now, shoot him a little bit. Shoot him." He's got to get hired somewhere else.
Oh, not Penn State.
I don't know.
State.
I don't know. But,
no way.
Yeah. Anyway, we love and appreciate you guys, and we will talk with you soon.
They know the game, but they're keeping it fun, poking fun at the stats. They're second to none. From fantasy leagues to the locker room jokes, they got the edge no one's ever broke. They don't need a suit, they don't need